All right, Frank, you're a valued member of the city council, one of our just 5 Republicans, and you're my guy. Everybody knows that I love you. So I need to find out about this Ossé story. I've been saying already this morning, I don't like him. He's one of those, to me, one of those black guys with a chip on his shoulder. He's going to do what he wants, call out President Trump on the city council floor, call him a pedophile. There'll be no repercussions. Do what he did a couple days ago in Bed-Stuy. He got arrested, but he's the victim. So I don't like him, so I admit that right off the bat. But you tell me what he did a couple days ago was that okay? Was that him just protesting, or did he take it too far?
Yeah, I mean, look, for starters, just for people to understand, Ossé is probably the most progressive member of the city council. And from what I see, look, when protesters, whether it's a council member or not, are physically blocking the process, I think officers are left with two choices, either enforce the law or abandon it, which is not a real choice. And according to the NYPD, there were repeated warnings to clear the area, and those warnings were ignored. Now, at that point, arrests aren't political. The cops don't know who's a city councilman and who's not. Police weren't freelancing. They were executing a lawful eviction order signed by a judge. They're procedural. Now, two things. One, the broader issue Ossé was protesting about, which is deed theft, which is something that's hurting middle-class families and a lot of poor families, especially in the black community. I actually agree with him on that. But we do have to do something about deed theft. But there's no excuse to block a lawful eviction order or to block what police are trying to do. But the other person that I really have to take issue with is, the mayor, Zohran Mamdani. Now, it was very well publicized that the mayor basically killed Ossé's congressional run, and for him daring to consider running for Congress, he was uninviting Ossé to from events and things like that. And now they're trying to kiss and make up, apparently. And the mayor rushed to social media, not to defend the cops, but to call Ossé a leader in the community and a partner in building a safer and more affordable New York. And he said that the footage of the councilman's arrest was concerning, yada, yada, yada. Now, I don't know that that's the best thing for the mayor to be doing, is rushing to question the judgment of the cops or what he's seeing on video, especially because just a couple of days before, in what looked like pure chaos in Queens, in Phil Wong's district, in the Maspeth area, the mayor said nothing. Now, to me, that video of these crazy people trying to take over streets and cars in Queens, that's a lot more damning than what we saw from the police on the Ossé situation. So the mayor, once again, is picking and choosing his spots of where he wants to be a commentator. And in my judgment, he absolutely failed the test of when it's appropriate to do so.
He's very consistent. He's always going to be anti-cop, Frank Morano. That's the bottom line. And, there's a big rally today, City Hall, about noon this afternoon. Good.
I'm going to be there, yep.
My good buddy Scott Monroe, the president of the Detectives Endowment Association Union. He's out there protecting cops all day long, and he's asking the mayor to step up, do something here. You can't catcall in the city anymore. You can't yell and scream certain things in the city anymore, but you can call a cop a dirty pig and spit on them, and the mayor does nothing about it. So actually the mayor has been very consistent. If it involves a cop, he's going to take the other side. Now, Julie Menin has an opportunity to show some discretion. I understand Ossé is part of her city council, so right away she feels like I got to protect him, right? Democrat, Republican, he's one of mine. But isn't it possible for Julie, who I've been very nice to the last couple of weeks, and she's gaining points with me, she really is, but isn't it possible every now and then to take cases on their own merit and show a little discretion?
100%. A couple of things. One, just to reiterate on what the mayor is doing. Now, the mayor said nothing on Twitter or anywhere else about, at least as of this morning, about the violent mob takeover of this as what Nicole Jolinas referred to as this Queens thoroughfare Saturday morning. And she aptly put that theatrical staged arrests of elected city officials have never harmed anyone. But illegal drag racing and donutting have killed many people in New York City, and yet that public safety issue is ignored by the mayor. Now, I think you're exactly right to point out that, Speaker Menon is, really taking a very responsible position on both policing and a lot of other issues. I know the anti-Semitism issue is certainly big with you and a lot of members of the audience. Property taxes, that's the other area where she's really the only thing standing between the mayor and raising everybody's cost of living. I think when it comes to policing, she's been very consistent in terms of criticizing the decision to not hire 5,000 new cops. And if you look at what the mayor is doing, canceling street festivals, canceling permits for celebrations in parks, I think it's clear, if that's being done at the direction of the police department, that we don't have the resources already to handle what we need to handle. So to talk about holding off on what Mayor Adams decided to do as he was leaving and hiring more cops, it's really ill-considered. So I'm glad the speaker is there. Really, this is the first time in the history of the relationship between the speaker and the mayor where the city council is the more responsible party on the whole in budget negotiations and public safety. Normally whether it's a mayor and speaker that get along well, like Giuliani and Vallone, or a mayor and speaker that don't get along well,
like Adams and Adams.
Exactly. We could go through the list. I mean, usually there's different gradations of that relationship, but almost always the council is the less responsible party because they don't, the mayor presents a balanced budget, at least on paper, and the council is only too happy to spend not only every dollar we have, but the unearned dime of your grandchildren. This is the first situation we've ever seen in New York City where the speaker is the more adult in the room, not only on fiscal situations, but on issues like hate crimes, anti-Semitism, and, of course, public safety.
No, I agree with you, but I guess I'm a little frustrated. Final 60 seconds, Frank, that she runs to the defense of Che Osso yesterday, and Ossé, she's standing right next to him, in fact, Julie, again, who I'm starting to appreciate more and more, like you just talked about. She's on the right side of so many things. I mean, but she'll take Vicky Palladino to the woodshed in 15 seconds, who's one of my 5 Republicans, and I'm still not happy about that, and I'm waiting for Jim Walden to fix that. So I guess that's where I'm still a little upset with Julie. She's quick to take Palladino to the woodshed very quickly, but she does something which is unlawful. That's the bottom line, and she's quick to defend him. That's my frustration.
Yeah, I guess the difference that I see is that, she didn't rush to condemn the NYPD without all the facts, right? I don't think that would have been responsible. She didn't inflame the situation. She called for facts and due process. Now, politically, behind the scenes, and I'm sure I'm going to get in trouble with both my colleagues on the left and the right for saying this, but that's what you get for getting me up early, is I think a lot of this is window dressing, right? I mean, all of her progressive colleagues view her as either a moderate or a Republican in Democratic clothing. So I think she's got to throw a bone once in a while to the left to appease this body, where, as you pointed out, 24 out of 51 members are members of the Progressive Caucus. They're already giving her a hard time. You saw, what they did on the perimeter bill on both educational institutions and houses of worship, and it's been a few other issues as well. So I kind of think it's about throwing a bone to a few folks because if she's viewed as too much of a Republican, not only is that going to hurt any political future she has in New York City, but it'll hurt a lot of her legislative agenda.
No, that's true. That's a fair point. And she got to be careful. She's going to run against me in 2029 for mayor. I know she's chomping at the bit, and maybe Jessica Tisch and a host of others. But a lot of folks been reaching out to me, Frank. I know it sounds crazy, this dopey sports guy who half this city doesn't just dislike, but they hate me. They really hate me. That may be enough for me to actually run come a couple of years. We'll see. Anyway.
Well, first of all, I don't think it sounds any crazier than a 33-year-old former rapper who wasn't even, who had no experience running anything being mayor, or an actor becoming president, or a bodybuilder turned action star becoming governor, or a pro wrestler wrestler and to becoming a governor of Minnesota, or a reality star and real estate developer becoming president. Americans and New Yorkers have a long history, whether it's left, right, or center, of unorthodox picks. And people get so frustrated with politicians and people that speak in political terms. I think a radio talk show host that's plain spoken and not PC just might be what the doctor called for. And even though a lot of people that might be traditionally Democrats may not think they agree with you on X, Y, or Z issues, I think a lot of people appreciate your bluntness and your honesty, which is something that's unfortunately far too lacking in politics. Happy birthday, Sid. I hope you use that wish wisely on Sunday. And who knows? Maybe we'll be measuring the drapes in Gracie Mansion for the Rosenbergs.
I love you. I really do, Frank. You really are terrific. Thank you for hopping on this morning and explaining all this stuff. He is the great city council member out there on Staten Island and a dear friend of mine, the great Frank Morano. Frank, thank you so much.
Sid, I love you, brother. And
Love
if anybody is a post-9/11 veteran, I'm chairing a Veterans Committee hearing today, 10 o'clock, 250 Broadway. I'd love to hear your perspective. Come on in down and share. Tell me what you think the city can be doing better to serve veterans. I want to hear from you, and I'm the chair, so I'm going to give people as much time as they want in spite of what the rules say.
Wow, that's awesome. Big day for Frank. He's going to be doing that. And then, of course, he'll be on the City Hall steps with Scott Monroe defending the Detectives Endowment Association right here in New York City. Thank you, Frank. We're going to run. We got a lot more to do, including the king of Rockland County. President Trump refers to him as Mr. Salt. Mike Lawler's back in the news. He's coming up next.
Thanks for listening to Sid and Friends in the Morning. You can hear Sid and Friends in the Morning weekday mornings at 6. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?